Isn't it comforting to know that God is in control? Now, we were reminded of just that in Proverbs 16 today. For instance, verse 9 says, "The heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." Now, although we think we may be in charge sometimes, we definitely are not. However, in God's wisdom, He has given us free will and the ability to choose. But the path we choose is sometimes in opposition to God's wisdom and His best for us. Now, when we start relying solely on ourselves, thinking we know what's best, this can lead us further away from God and more towards the world's way of doing things. Now, we can even look by the world's standard to be succeeding, but ultimately, going our own way, leads to our downfall. In Proverbs 16:18 today, we can see what that outcome looks like. Now, although this famous verse is often misquoted as "pride goes before a fall," it actually reads, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Now, when I think of this verse, I think of the battle between David and Goliath. You remember Goliath, that 9'9" Philistine giant who was battle-hardened, had a bronze armor, a large sword, and a weaver's beam-sized spear, and he intimidated the army of Israel for 40 days and nights. Now, by the world standards, he had it all together. He had height, strength, battle experience, power, and above all, a great confidence in himself, or pride. However, David, the shepherd boy, took him down with one stone from his sling. Why? Because David's faith and trust was in God, and by his experience, God had protected him in the past from lions and bears. And David's humble reliance on God led to his victory. On the other hand, Goliath, when we see his pride, he looked down on David arrogantly, and this led to his downfall because his pride was in himself. Now, this same kind of self-righteous attitude in ourselves can take us further away from God and lead to our downfall. As it says in James chapter 4, verse 6, God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble. Now also, consider an unbeliever who puts their faith in their money, their education, and their job. They can either be saying to themselves, "I'm doing a great job without God. I don't need Him." However, rejecting Him, we know that their money, their status, their job will not save them from the ultimate judgment of God. So even though we may be going through hard times, we know that having reliance on God and taking that path is the best way to go. We can also live in the comfort of knowing that God says in Isaiah chapter 40, verses 10 through 12, the same God who by His might and strength and created everything, He's compassionate upon us and leads us like a shepherd taking care of the weak. He takes care of us. So be encouraged today that God is God and we are not. This should take the pressure off. But He doesn't expect us to just sit idly by and do nothing. He just wants us to follow Him. He loves us. He wants what's best for us. May the Lord bless you and keep you in His leading today.